We'll go back over that. We're reviewing them. We'll call it meeting to order 6:02. And we reviewed manifests. Minutes. We need to accept the public minutes for the work session on February 12th, the public and non-public minutes of February 12th, the public and non-public minutes of February 18th. Get a motion.
I'll make the motion to accept the minutes as printed.
I will second. Does anybody have any discussion or changes to any of them? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Citizens' comments. Anybody in the room? Is there anybody online? Nope. Think so.
Maria Webb, are you
Have
making any
comments?
comments today?
I'm all set right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Student board member items. Kaylee?
I do have stuff because my computer broke and it didn't even break, it like won't work.
Oh, no.
I know a tech guy.
I know it's just like it works, but it's like slow and I've just been avoiding it. But I gotta put in a help desk. Library usage is a big one people are complaining about right now because you can't use the library a lot during the day. It's very like pick and choose what student it is right now. Which I didn't realize because she has classes in there, but then if it's like one student, like a particular student, she'll send them back to the class if they're like in a class and finish their work. Whereas if there's someone else, they can be there all day and it's not a problem. And it's just hard to use the library space as a library as it like stands right now. It's hard to get a cubby. It's hard to like do anything in there unless you're like in there for a class or part of National Honor Society. So that was brought, there's like a lot of people now that I'm in the library more in a cubby. A lot of more people like are like what's going on here? Why can't we come in here for a book or whatever? And then another thing I got from my sister's friends, her like gaggle of like middle school girls, is phones. They wanted me to ask about phones during lunch for middle schoolers. Only during lunch because it's like lunch is for socializing and eating, but then phones is such a part of like your social life now, where it's not just the people that you see at school. So that's a big one that I'm hearing too, but that's about it.
Thanks for the feedback, Kaylee. Any questions for her about anything?
I shared last month that you had all positive things to share.
I did.
So glad to hear that that's still going because neither of those were negative.
Yeah, no,
Awesome.
light feedback.
Right on.
All right, superintendent's report.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I have a summary that I provided for you, and I'll just kind of highlight those 4 areas. Not a lot has happened in the 3 weeks that we've been in school since our last meeting. However, we have had some movement on a few things. We are meeting with, we being Karen Thompson and I are meeting with Nancy Wise on Friday at the Wyndham Regional Career Center in Brattleboro to talk about CT programming that will include Hinsdale high school students. They're very excited to meet with us because they've had a drop in enrollment, and one of the key aspects of meeting with them is to increase enrollment but make it at a more affordable cost. They're wide open to the conversation. I also shared that we have a vision for expanding CTE, utilizing some space in the Winchester campus, which, as I said before, the Winchester School Board is fully on board putting 3 programs there and being able to utilize those 2 schools for all of our students, so that when Winchester high school students join us, Brat students could be coming over and attending our CTE programs while we're sending students there. So make it more of that partnership that we've been looking for. I think Ms. Thompson will share a little bit more about her interaction with the folks from Keene in her report. If not, then I'll ask her to, because it's really just eye-opening for us in the treatment that we're getting because we're not from Keene. It's really unfortunate. Now we're really starting to see through the eyes of Hinsdale or Winchester students of what they've been going through. So we're not going to go down that road. We're not going to do years and years and years of being berated or just ignored. We're just going to take matters into our own hands and create our own program. So I'm looking forward to I've not been to the Career Center So I'm looking forward to going on Friday. So hopefully the restaurant will be open and they're serving breakfast.
Oh, I didn't know they had a restaurant.
I know.
They have culinary arts and they need to showcase what their menu is, right?
Wouldn't it be great if we had
I
something
know,
like that?
Wouldn't it be wonderful? You know, we have this
I really.
kitchen and dining room down in the Winchester School that's not being used right as you
Second
walk in. And I may have discussed that with the board chair yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
So stay tuned.
Had a vision in the middle of the night.
I did give full credit to, I said, it actually woke Karen up. I don't know if it was because she was hungry or just because she thought.
You mean like a bakery?
Yes, like a bakery.
This would work out.
I know someone who could help with that too. Our life skills students do like lunches here.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely would like to do an agri-science program at Winchester School because the land is plentiful and there's enough expertise. And one of our board members actually has a background in agricultural science. And so imagine being able to do some farm to table stuff
Yeah.
with a culinary arts, a specialized culinary arts program with baking as a major portion of its curriculum. So there's a lot of opportunity there.
Another thing, when I went to Fall Mountain when I was younger, I saw they had a sugar house.
Yeah.
And I think that would be, if we could get somebody in town and have our own sugar house, build it ourselves, come up with funding to be able to get the whole unit and do it. I mean, I think it would be awesome. Like when I pulled in and saw that day, I went, you've got to be kidding me.
They're
Yeah.
boiling right now up there.
Yeah.
Yes, everyone's boiling right
Yeah,
now.
oh yeah, it's time.
High
In our
time.
task program, we're doing
that's
sugar right
right,
now, so.
I know, because I got last year. they
Last
did
year they
maple
just
syrup
Is
or something,
doing, they've tapped some trees on campus, and they're gonna boil it, and we're gonna have, actually, they've now, Bear Mountain,
right?
Bear,
Oh, yeah.
they're gonna go there, the group of the kids that tap the trees here,
Oh,
they're
nice.
going on a HASP field trip.
Awesome.
Next
That's
week, the
great.
week after.
Yeah.
So it's,
Part
we've
of our
got a,
heritage, so.
we've got
you
a
know.
dusting of
Yeah,
it right now,
dusting.
but yeah.
That's beautiful. I like that.
Yeah, and one of the other programs, because it's really popular, I know they offer it in Pratt, but we have so many kids that could do it as a construction technology program. So they can build the sugar shack.
There you go.
They can then boil off and create the maple syrup, which can then be served in the restaurant
Mhm.
on the pancakes that our
There you
kids make. So
Yeah, we-
anyone
we
else
got-
hungry?
We got a, yeah, we have a wicked plan going here.
Yeah, no, I haven't eaten yet.
So we'll order it.
I just, I just said one more. I think that the
Yeah.
fire science piece, even though Brad has one, we did this before as an explorers program here, and it was perfect. It worked out well. And even though they have one, to be able to offer one with, if we could do that, just frees up more space for other kids to go to other programs over there. So we know they might have some programs that we might want to offer, but that just means if we can offer it,
Mhm.
then it gives us more leeway to get more kids over to programs that
For sure.
we can't offer.
Mhm.
So just trying to create more opportunities and use the partners that are willing to do that and
Absolutely.
benefit all
Yeah.
of our students.
Mhm.
So they were excited to hear about that. So we're excited to go.
Sweet.
As you know, we're headed to Tucson, Arizona at the end of April. We are all registered and our flights are all booked and we're looking forward to it. I just wanted to memorialize that in our board report. There are 4 goals to the project, again, all grant funded. And I wanted to emphasize that in no way will any of the leftover grant funds be used to create any position that then ultimately would be looked at as being added to the budget. That's not our intent. Any funding that is left over will be used to implement some of the changes that we learn about. And so if there's some innovation that we can do back here based on what we see, if there are supplies or resources or training, professional development, any of the leftover grant funds will go towards paying for that, but it won't be for a position. I just know that there's been a brief history of some of that happening and that's not, that definitely is not Jane's vision, nor is it mine. We don't create positions using grant funds.
No, and we did, I just let Dr. Ryan know, we did just get our first half of the payment for the grant, so the second one will come in about a month and a half.
Yeah,
So-
when we finish, right?
When we turn the stuff in.
Yeah, when you actually do the work.
Yeah.
Okay. Campus Safety and Security Task Force, so Josh Moore, our SRO, Mr. Ponce, and Miriam Tallman, you know Miriam, she works in the office with us. They went to train the trainer sessions for Alice training, which is our response it's our response system for any threat to the school, either elementary, middle, or high, to get a refresher and kind of demystify some of what it is and what it isn't. We kind of had a mishmash. As you can see, there's under the light panel, the light switch, there is an outline of our response, which is not entirely Alice. We want to streamline and make sure everybody knows exactly what it is we do in the event that there's an intruder. Right down to the kind of language, the actual words we use. And so we were able to send them, which was great. That was a result of our February meeting that we'd had with Rich Kane, who we will invite back. But we're going to meet the first or second week. I think we're looking at either April 1st or April 8th for a task force meeting to debrief the Alice training, as well as after the Saturday when a budget is decided, take a look at what we have for hardscape improvements, look at what some of our security projects need to be, and figure out how we're going to move from there. And so that would be pretty much the agenda for that morning. But we're still moving forward with this. We still have an interest from area districts to do a regional safety and security task force. So that's something that we look to begin next year. We'll be in a much better place. I will feel much better when we have a dual lock system with a locked vestibule in both of our schools, because right now we don't. I'm not so comfortable with that. So we'll bring that work forward.
Are we training, have teachers been trained too?
That's all going to be part of what we plan through the task forces. We'll need to do some Alice training protocols. So we need to do a lockdown, we need to do some reverse evacuations just to get used to the language.
Right.
Not to scare anybody but we'll do all the necessary communication ahead of time. It's okay for people to know it's a drill
Right.
ahead of time.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah, you don't want everyone to also anxiety on top of
Right.
learning.
Yeah, you don't want them
right?
to go through that.
Yeah.
You know, I
Trying
mean,
to learn
when
how
you
to
practice
do
a
it.
sport, you go to practice to practice. It's not a
Mhm.
surprise.
Right.
So it's the same thing. Same philosophy. And then the tuition agreement status, I received the suggestions back from the attorney yesterday, shared it out with the tuition agreement committee. Nothing in terms of heavy lifting. April and I just reviewed it again before. Nothing that changes anything in there substantially. Did you get a chance to take a look at it? Yeah. So we're going to meet tomorrow at our regularly scheduled meeting at 2:30. We will finalize the agreement, and then we will be ready to post on Monday for a public hearing on April 12th, which we'll do. I think we decided we're going to do it in the gym. And we'll have a public hearing, I think at 5. Is that what we said? And then our meeting would start either at 6 or 10 minutes after the end of the public hearing. And that way that the town can come and participate, talk about what they see. So everything will be up there, every iteration of the agreement. So this is draft 5. So all 5 drafts will be up. The minutes will all of our non-public discussions and public minutes will all be posted for everybody to be able to see. We'll direct everybody to them and they can come give their thoughts on it. We're going to do the same thing in Winchester on April 3rd. After that, we then, the drill. We go to a public town meeting with one article. The attorneys are drafting the article for us. They've already started that.
Okay, great.
And in Winchester, there's a deliberative session in late April and then or early May, and then May 17th is the vote for that one article. And then we send everything up to the Department of Ed. And our attorneys see nothing wrong with anything that we're doing. Timeline, language, all is well.
Very good.
Just keep moving forward with it.
Yeah.
And, to your point last meeting, Wayne, nothing's done until it's done.
Mhm.
So this is still very much a draft proposal that has to still go through our legislative body, their legislative body, and then ultimately the Department of Education. And nothing's done until it's done. So that concludes my report.
I was glad you sent the red line and explanation because I really didn't want to have to compare the two. I opened it up and was like, oh no, it's just a regular one. And then I saw your next email. I was like, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted you to get what I got. And so if you didn't see the actual red line in there, I'm going to want to be able to show that tomorrow because we'll be in here and I can show it up there so that
Yeah,
you
I
can see
printed it
exactly
off
what
So
it
I
is.
could actually.
Yeah, it's
look
funny,
at
the
it.
permissions sometimes lock you out of
Yeah.
printing off comments or red line. I don't,
The red line printed,
know
I
why.
don't think the comments did though. But I think the red line.
I couldn't even see the red line.
right, so the
Oh,
comments
got it
are the red
here.
line items.
Oh, okay.
It took me a while to figure that too. I kept getting it. They're not showing.
There's nothing there. I thought it was because it's on my phone, but. looked
Well,
at it
see, I
here,
did
so-
it the first time on my phone, the second time I was on my computer, so maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Could be, yeah. And I do have two non-public items, both under personnel for after.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Dr. Ryan? Oh. All right. I don't see her on my screen, unfortunately. Oh, sorry.
If I knew it was that easy, I would have
Well,
just
I
clicked
feel
it.
like.
I can't read it from here. Who is it?
Kendra,
Oh,
Hi,
Kendra.
Kendra.
Hi, Kendra.
Now, what are you doing with your migraine?
There she is. I know. Sorry.
Okay.
Business administrators report, Jean.
Madam Chair, members of the board, you have my report. Later in the meeting, we will be going over busing bids and the P card or procurement card resolutions. And hopefully I explained enough of that in there, but as we go over that part of the agenda, I'll go into more explanation on those. So. And I've also handed out draft copy of town meeting notes, so we have it for reference in case questions do come up. So if you see something you want added, give me a holler.
Perfect. Any questions for Jean?
So we're gonna talk about the procurement cards later. Okay, so I'll hold off on that one.
Yep.
So I was just looking at the expense report, but are we going over budget stuff?
In the April meeting, my hope is to go over, well, we're gonna go over budget
The
For
budget
this
town
Saturday.
meeting, yeah.
yes, but the budget to date that you would be looking at, I'm gonna go into a more in-depth, here's where we're at, here's where I see we may end,
Okay.
even though it's, 3 months early. I mean, I know it's April, but it's still 3 months early. Because we'll still be processing February and most of March at that point. But I've been going through in detail, and I've had to do, a few move arounds and stuff. So right now, I think we're gonna have 2 budget transfers come to you. They're fairly basic ones. One is to just move money from a wage line into the sub line because we currently don't have an employee in the wage position, but we do have someone who has been in the sub line, so we just need to make that move. And I don't like to make anything that you don't see. And I'm trying to think what the other one is. I think it's also moving from a wage line to a contracted service line. So I'll have those for you as well. And at that point, I'll be probably putting some in-depth notes, as to where we're at and what you see or what you don't see that's still gonna be coming. So,
Yeah, the sub was one of my only need to talk about right now concerns, because I was wondering if we budgeted enough for next year, because we're already 10,000 over budget, so I just wanted to make sure, because we, trimmed so much, I don't wanna not have enough, because we don't have a whole lot to pull from.
Mhm. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so everything, then the rest of them can wait till.
Yeah, and I'll try and get that report to you so that it's soon enough that you can kind of take a look at it, and you will see I'll probably have notes on it. For instance, if you were to look at the contracted service line in the SAU, the over 60,000-70,000 of that is our SRO. I don't have the bill for that yet. We typically will get that towards the end of the year. So that will be one of those things saying, yeah, I know there's 60 or 70,000 left, but it's not left.
It's
So
not
those are the
actually-
kind of notes I want to be able to give you so that you know what's still coming. Okay.
And just a note on the sub line, if you recall earlier this year, you increased the sub pay.
Right.
We've had a significant number of illnesses in any district that
Yeah.
I know anyone that I've talked to.
Yeah.
So you'd see a substantial increase in what we pay out based on very simply the amount, the difference, right? What was it, 85 to 125?
90 to 125.
90 to
I think.
125. And so we budgeted next year at the 125. So I'm not as alarmed by it, but sometimes you just gotta wonder how many times people are out of the building. People are sick. People are sick.
And we're not doing anybody any favors by coming and spreading it, making more people sick.
Right,
So,
right.
I mean, there's that fine line you gotta walk, so.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I mean, next door, I had to close school for 2 days. We had so many people who were out.
Right, yeah.
So
Manchester,
it's,
that's right.
yeah, it's a tough season for everybody with everything going around.
Mhm.
But I think we'll be okay. I feel comfortable where we are in our subline next year, but we'll certainly keep an eye on it.
And there may be more lines that I may have to do a budget transfer in to make sure we're covered.
Yeah.
But those will all come to you, and my hope is that trying to look, with more than 3 months left, I know on the books it's not, but in
Mhm.
reality it is as far as the finances, where I think we'll be, so that, my hope is in the May meeting, if we need to make any decisions, like, okay, can we do this, that we can do it at that point. Okay.
Anything else? That's good. Thank you, Jane. Karen Thompson, Director of Academics and Readiness.
Madam Chair, members of the board, you have a report. Any questions I'm happy to answer. I will follow up with Dr. Ryan's statement about that. I'm excited that we're going to move to talking to Brattleboro. It was a very, very disappointing conversation. And we can put it out there now because I left a meeting feeling like they were all but asking us to not come next year. All of out of 16 programs, 12 they told us will not be available to our kids. 12.
Crazy.
Literally no room at the inn for our kids. The reality is if we could send any, it would be in programs that our kids haven't showed a lot of interest in. So and
Which
it
is
would
probably
be
why they have seats.
right. That's right. I think it's probably the open ones.
Right.
And the other thing I think that they weren't as upfront about is I would hope is they marketed a whole lot to Dr. Ryan and I, and their programs weren't fully staffed. So, when we had 8 kids signed up for construction, didn't have an instruction teacher. So, I feel like that was a little bit not nice.
Yeah.
And
That's a lot of kids to
Yeah.
be out of an experience
Right.
they were expecting.
Right. The good thing is many of them were able to get into ELOs I think we tried to fix that, but we couldn't for
Well, good
all of
thing
them.
That's an option.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it was just very disheartening. They made it clear that the other schools didn't feel comfortable with adding another school to the area agreement, because we talked about that, like, what does it take? Could we be part of that? Well, if you guys join, that's gonna take a seat away from the smaller schools. I understand that, but my job is to take care of this school, and they just didn't want to hear it. So, it's time. And I don't, we'd like to be able to make the move for next year if we can. And I think what we can't fill with, because of dollars next year, we'll look ahead to numbers of kids that might want to go the following year. Oh, we can't fill, we'll be able to fill with ELOs, and then look at our own opportunities within that we can offer in the next few years. So that's unfortunate, but it's, we tried it. I think we did it in good faith
Right.
to make a difference in the budget,
Right.
and found out it wasn't what's best for our children. So we have to relook at that.
Well, and hopefully Brattleboro will be more willing to
Yeah.
come
like
to a
they
better price.
Yes.
So it's.
I think it has to do with the sliding scale, the number of students enrolled,
Yeah.
because they have to fund the program, and so
Right.
there's a number.
Right.
So the more we can supply within whatever their max enrollment is for each course,
Right.
the
Yeah,
better
makes it
we'll be.
Right.
So I don't think we'll be as low as Keene. We'll be better. At least
Than we were
that's our
before.
goal.
Yeah. I mean,
Than we were
only have
before.
2 kids going right now, so keen, so.
Yeah.
And true to Brattleboro.
Yeah.
And true to Brattleboro.
We had a
So
clear-
I know we've really still been in Brattleboro, so might as well. go back.
And the dates of the dates of exhibition and mentor dinner are in there. If you're interested in coming, please let me know, and I will make sure you get a golden ticket before the day arrives. And a chocolate bar, I know you'll get one too, Ms. Roth. People are asking, do I get a chocolate bar with that too? Well, no, but I guess Nava's asking. I know the budget for that.
Yeah, you should have put that in the budget.
Nope. And I think that concludes everything that's in there. Oh, I did want to tell you that like in report, our students have spoken on their visual for the portrait of a learner. We have to pretty it up a little bit. We have to working with Elite Vinyl to help us fine tune the image a bit so that we can use it for posters, for t-shirts, we can put it on letterheads. So our goal would be that that becomes our mission, right? And our, so that this kind of stuff.
That comes down and the
Yeah.
other one goes up.
And the portrait stuff goes away, but it needs to be clean. There's a lot of little details in it. So we'll present, we're hoping that they can have that ready for May meeting, so we can show you it with the definitions and the final visual.
Very
outcome.
excited to see.
Yeah, it was, the kids voted, and we're still gonna do some more high school vote, is that correct? Yeah, so some of the high school still has to vote, but I think they narrowed it down to 2, so.
Great.
The middle school's done with their voting, so, yeah, it's exciting.
Yay. Any questions for Karen?
I have one thing. The Keene thing with the career center's been happening. I went to Keene my freshman year and they shut down school for 2 days and they sent all of the freshmen and juniors and sophomores into the career center. They called it like career day, and you had to go in and you did like 30 minutes in each room or something. And then they'd all these kids sign up for it. And then they had to tell all these kids no, because they had no teachers. They had no classes available.
That's a really good point, Kaylee, thank you for that, and that's why
So they're
they,
pushing it.
they're
Pushing it and then they
Right.
never actually have anything.
Truly a shame. I went
I
there when I was a
Me
junior and
too.
senior, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
I think the programs
Even
are
way
really,
back when,
really
right?
good, there's just no space.
It was
They also
amazing.
they usually come and present, this is another red flag for us, they usually come and
Mhm.
willingly come and present
Right.
about it. They
They're-
willingly canceled because they
Yeah.
didn't think there was gonna be, we don't wanna set the kids up. And this
Uh-huh.
was earlier on in the year, and I thought that was odd, I said, well, we can still get the word out, but they just didn't want to, so. they were
That
telling
is
us.
such a bummer.
It sounds like Keene is trying to segregate themselves from most area towns, so.
It's become quite an
I'm,
isolationist district.
Yeah.
Which is so
Yeah.
weird, like.
At least
in
for our
this
smaller,
little-
smaller schools like us
Yeah.
anyway. So we'll be happy to do better on our own.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be
Right.
fun.
And obviously, they need, the career stuff is needed, so.
Yeah.
Being able to have our own,
Well,
Thank you, Karen. Principals report, Anna?
Madam Chair, members of the board, we have my report. The thing in here that I'm most excited about is that all of our course requests have been put in for all of our students who will be in high school next year, which is leaps and bounds ahead of our timing last year. So we're at the point of looking at how many sections we need to start thinking about the master schedule. So it's really exciting to be this far ahead. Barb and Joe worked really hard leading up to February break. They met with every student who will be in 9th through 12th grade next year individually. Put their course requests into Power School. That spit something out that could go home to parents. And so they just had a really good process that worked well. And we had 4 students sign up for French 4, and Joe Smith said to Dan, convince them to do AP French. So they're all doing AP French.
Nice.
So some of the kids just really need that push. I had spoken to some of them, but I think it was better coming from Mr. Huntley as their teacher, saying like, I know you can do this and we'll do it together. So that's exciting.
It's been magical this whole career.
And that's the course that's gonna be taught by us on
By-
the rural
yeah.
network.
Yeah, with other people joining.
Yeah, that'll be
remotely,
fun.
So that'll be good. And then we are starting to have lots of conversations about the end of the year, and transitions. So thinking about what those events will look like, how I will put my own spin on it without, taking away any loved traditions. And so I'm gonna be putting out a quick survey to seniors and their parents about one idea that I have, just to get their feedback before I make any big decisions. The prom this year is May 17th at the Reformer Ballroom, which is at the old Landmark College campus, right? Is that right, Kayla?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. And you haven't settled on a theme? Or you have?
So there's been some difficulty getting everybody together or people to answer their emails.
Okay.
So me and I don't know, the assistant teacher,
The advisors?
yeah, Miss Atkins and
Yep.
me have kind of settled ourselves on like old Hollywood theme.
Okay.
So we can get like a red carpet, because it's like a giant white mansion, has like a staircase up, gonna try and convince Chris and a bunch of the other people that work there to do like a fake like red carpet walk situation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that was our thought, like old Hollywood kind
Yeah.
of like idea.
Yeah. I like it.
Very cool. That's unique too. I don't think we've done.
No.
one like
Yeah, I
that,
was trying to
so I
think of
like it.
something. Everybody's doing like Rapunzel and yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's what Fall Mountain's doing this year is Tangled theme.
Oh,
Oh.
Holly's gonna be mad. That's her favorite.
Uh,
Meanwhile, I can't get my kid to go to a school dance.
I've never been to one.
We had the
She
high
says
school
no
semi
interest.
last Saturday and it was, I would say poorly attended, given the population of our high school.
Yeah.
Surprise.
I went and I bought a dress and then I heard that like no one was going and I returned it. I was like, I'm not gonna go if no one else is going.
And then the senior class trip is June 2nd. They're going to Boston. I'm going with them and the advisors and I think one other chaperone. So I don't think they have booked anything there yet. They've tossed around some ideas. So they're trying to firm up the itinerary for that day, but sure. Can start collaborating with Dr. Brenner on planning transition for our fifth graders. Sixth graders, so hoping to make that more student driven and student centered. And a little more in depth than just a tour and go. So have lots of ideas.
Good.
Great. Any questions for Ann?
Just a huge thank you to Joe Smith and
Mm.
guys, because Aubrey came home very excited about taking high school classes and had her whole little schedule, and it's just nice that they're, getting that attention and it's a thoughtful process.
Yeah.
I'm very happy.
Yes.
All right. Dr. Brenner.
Well, I don't know, DJ Maria on the other side. There's some,
I'll go check.
I think we were gonna. I think we were gonna start with we have a student need presentation. Here we go.
She's like, I got
If
it.
we
Look
could
at her
do
go.
the Ribby one first, Maria, I know. Ribby one is fun.
You see that?
We can see that one.
We
Who
can see that one,
wants to do the
yeah.
other one
Yeah.
first? Can we do the other one first? Somebody else.
First.
Well, because this one I have print out so I can just walk us through it, so we shouldn't have to put it up, but the Ribby one is happy children pictures.
We like that.
Meeting.
Oh, never mind.
I'm not frozen. Yep.
You
sent two?
Yep, it's the Ribby one, the reading with Ribby.
Reading with
It's a
Ribby.
budget, it's a budget thing.
We're gonna go over our budget and stuff at the
Yeah,
end.
well, this is gonna be.
Molly, can I just tell them one thing while they're waiting? Remind us of Kindness Day.
Oh, kindness day.
Okay, that's what I was
April
wondering. Perfect, other business.
Yes,
No
so
problem.
I just wanted to remind you guys of Kindness Day, April 18th, and Wayne, if you know of any town projects.
I should be able to get a hold of you. Our parks guy just started heading out. Finding the whiskey barrels that we placed in snowbanks so ever nightly with plow trucks. Yeah, and so we're gonna have a final count on that, and
so
then
anything
we're
you can
gonna
Send me.
buy some.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna buy them, and then they're gonna need to get placed back where they
Yeah,
go,
sure. Perfect.
filled up with soil when they get there, for
Okay,
when the
the other one
beautification
I
committee
handed
decides that
out.
they're gonna plant, it's all back where it needs to be,
Okay.
so I will have a better idea probably within the week,
Okay,
probably.
so if you
of-
can just let me, just email me or call me, whatever,
Mhm.
I can put that out because we did meet with it's gonna be, I'm excited that we're doing the pre-K through 12 this year, so
Mhm.
elementary school's doing stuff too, when I met with them yesterday. They are already coming up with ideas of things they wanna do,
Good.
so if I can give them, and it would, what I'm hearing is there might be a lot of, I'm hoping, a lot of collaboration between an elementary school class and a high school grade
that'd be
level,
fun.
like it would be really nice if we could do it.
Very
So-
good, yeah.
If you have suggestions for town activities that you need help with,
Mm-hmm.
Kindness Day is, we got how many kids in the district? ready to go out. and talk.
271 and how many in the
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a lot of hands.
About
Yeah.
520,
Yeah.
525.
Yep, no, that sounds awesome, and I will get some more information and get it over to you.
Thank you, Molly.
Yeah. So we had quite the week last week. We were very busy. So it was our Read Across America week. It was our longest attendance challenge week. And so we kicked it off with the Mr. Gemmel's Reading with Ribby program. I don't know how to tell her to go to the next, press a button. There we go. Okay.
Just say it, she will.
Okay.
She can hear us.
you.
And so this program, the kids, and under the participants is a picture of this thing. It's a free program. And so the kids, get these bookmarks and they read for 20 minutes and punch out 18 of these, and they get a free t-shirt and a family free pass for a game in
Oh, nice.
June.
Cool.
That's cool.
And so it's another way, and I have a slide at the end, because we have triple things going for reading incentives right now. And so that is the challenge, and press a button, Maria, please. Next. I don't know. Okay. So Miss Brissette, who you'll see there on the left, she's one of our first grade teachers. So she encouraged this program. So she made the arrangements, talked with me about it. And then on the right here, on the other side of me, is Miss Rhonda Stewart. And so she's a regular volunteer for us. So she volunteers in Deb Carrier's room pretty much weekly, for the whole day. She helps all sorts of kids with all sorts of things. So she's very involved in this program beyond us, like this for the last 20 years, she's been involved with this. So on the day of, and you'll see another picture, when they read aloud this story, Ribby and Rhonda acted it out with a foam ball and all this stuff.
That's cool.
And so they read a book to the whole group. And then Maria, next. Okay. And so Ribby came, the kids were all excited. And so Ribby had a wardrobe change in Steve Pecto's office. And next. So they stood in front, and you'll see Rhonda up there, and all the kids were so engaged. And this was we had a spirit week too. So this was wear blue for Hinsdale. So you'll see a sea of a lot of kids wearing blue. Lots of soccer shirts. So well done, Hinsdale Rec. Next, Maria. And then it was just sweet, I guess. So they came last year, and the kids were scared of Ribby. And this year they were all hugging up on Ribby. So that was a change that all the staff were excited about. So they were like, oh, some kids are nervous about it. And last year it was only with a couple grades, and this year we did everybody, the whole school. So we expanded all of it. Next, no more hugs. Next, more hugs and high five. There we go. And then one more, I think. Why do we do this? So reading incentive programs have been found to boost short-term reading engagement. And that is an extrinsic motivator, an external motivation. They're going to get this thing for doing it. And so we still have to pair that with intrinsic motivation, pride. How does it help you? You know, what are your feelings about it? And I don't know, I'm a child of the 80s, so 80s, early 90s. I don't know if anybody else here did the Pizza Hut book program, right? That was like
so awesome.
they still have it.
Pizza.
In looking at this slide, they still have it.
Do you know how many books I read?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was what I was thinking about. And so it's actually now it still exists. Pizza Hut doesn't entirely, but it does.
I know.
It now hits 14 million kids a year. And so because it's the longest running one, it's been, as an incentive program, it's been studied, right? So a piece of that is, even though it's a short-term reading engagement boost, if kids practice reading and are engaged with it, then their fluency improves and their want to read improves, and then their comprehension improves. So they're actually, even though there is, it's short term, overall, there is a long term impact. So we also have the reading marathon, which is through the Healthy Monadnock. Like to get access to the reading marathon things and books, I had to do that I presented at the last board meeting, that self-assessment. And then the Hinsdale Library, the town library, they have a challenge going too. So this month we're like triplicate.
Nice.
And so it was a good, and you'll see in our data why we needed a little something. So I just wanted to share that slides with you. So I'm all set with all that now, Maria.
Should she bring up the other one?
I passed it out, so I
Oh,
think
okay.
we're all set. We don't need to present the other, Maria, it's too tricky. So you have my overall report, and I did, on my report, I noted out some updates from our different leadership committees. But a piece of that is our data and our attendance. So we had single-digit absences last week, every day.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
That's good.
It was awesome. All 5 days, single-digit absences.
Great.
So our mid-year data was right at the end of when we were all plagued. So that is a piece of that. So I wanted to share out how we went about our mid-year data a little bit. So we created a new protocol. So before the data dive was historically sort of a sharing out of data to the staff. This is what the performance was. The first data dive we had, I just let it happen. Like what are we gonna do? And then we have this new data leadership team, which I shared out. So we created a data protocol. And for this one, we really wanted to look at 3 layers of data. We wanted to look at general overall trends, sort of like standing on a mountain, looking at the landscape, starting to see the groups or like the cities and towns, and then the individuals, the houses, right? So those were the images that we created our protocol to, and there was key questions they had to ask themselves and go through. So math, we are overall trending in the right direction, but we discussed that we don't really have a set intervention for math. So title is only reading this year. It's not always been, but this year it's only reading. And how do we provide tier 2 intervention? So we identified different times of the day that they can do that more. And then our Bridges curriculum has an intervention component, which I did find shrink wrapped on the 3rd floor. So we have it out. It's also available digitally. So some folks had some access, but it's something that we're building out. One of our teachers went to a Bridges PD over winter, and she'll be presenting to the full staff at our staff meeting the week after next. So I'm working with her on how to do that, to show like where are the intervention pieces. So even though we are slightly trending in the right direction, we need gas on this. This is not the right direction, but not fast enough. So we're still taking some steps there, and they dove in deeper at the different components that we look at in math. So geometry, measurement, data, numbers, operations, algebraic thinking, and just some really great conversations between staff about, well, we're at the same grade level and we co-plan. How are we different than each other? Well, maybe it's different kids, maybe it's different things. That one's strong for you, this one's strong for me. What are you doing? What am I doing? So we're having those conversations, which is really good to have. Heading over to reading, it's not going the right direction. I'm just gonna be honest with you. You can see it. We know we need more PD on my view. We need to understand how, when, and with what to intervene with. Thinking about science of reading, but making sure we're understanding science of reading is, in my view, we're together, but there may be pieces that we need to supplement. There may be pieces we need to adjust for. And then folks did talk a lot about the attendance being an issue, stuff like we cannot get content into kids if they're not at school. For the dibbles, it was very sort of all over the place. We had some huge growth in some spots, some huge decreases in others. And I gave the two most extreme examples. So we had A class go from 50% in the green blue to 83% in the green blue. Awesome. But we had another class go from 50% in the red to 84% in the red. It's opposite. So I did provide you on the right what we test in for dibbles and at what grade levels we do that, just to kind of understand that. And so that those big swings, that was their overall composite score. But we've been able to dive into those smaller pieces. And that's the piece I want to really get everybody to understand is we're looking, when we look at maps or we look at SAS or we look at dibbles, we're often looking at a composite score. And the details are actually what we need to look at. So we're seeing some great growth in some spots and some bigger areas of weakness. So just to summarize at the end, as I talked about math already, but this is many ways the first year of my view, because there was an original and then it was there was a new version put out, and it's not significantly different, but it is different. And so this is the first year having it, and the PD was the year before. So there's still catch up there. Some of the reactions we're doing is we now have a walkthrough procedure that Jeannie, Anna, and myself are doing, which we introduced to staff in a planful way. We started to do that this week. And then Anna created a new schedule so that we're more frequently progress monitoring students who are not green and blue. So if they're in the red, orange, yellow, we have it all broken down, 2 weeks or a month. And so again, their composite can be whatever it is we're looking at is that one test in that spot where progress monitoring that one thing. We're not going to progress monitor the things they're already on track for, just that one area of weakness and intervening. And the new intervention groups. So just wanted to give that update.
Any questions?
A lot of work put into it, but
Yeah.
I do like that, but I like the intervening. I struggled reading as a child. That made me struggle even to today. So knowing that we're identifying that and you guys are putting that next step in, I'm hoping that the kids don't deal with some of the things people like myself did. You know, I had to teach myself how, and I still struggle at times, you know, with retaining and stuff. So it's that I'm glad that we're seeing where we're struggling and we're going after it. So that's awesome. Thank
We're
you.
certainly going after it.
Molly, do you see some opportunities within the school day to add minutes to reading instruction based on your current schedule?
Yeah, so we, in both the PLC leadership, actually the PLC leadership team, data leadership team, and the PLC leadership team, those are all after school grant funded distributed leadership teams. We have talked significantly about changing the schedule for next year, and that we need more core academic minutes. And so we are looking at those options, and I would hope by May I'll be able to share out our thinking and the whys to it, because it may be some drastic stuff or what feels like maybe drastic, but all through teacher feedback of what that looks like. We have the benefit of lots of specials, but we can orient them to our core academics differently or gain back some minutes in different ways. We're also, I've introduced this idea, introduced the topic, I guess, but it'll be a bigger overhaul. Is we are fortunate enough to have this win block, what I need block in the schedule. I'm learning about the history of it. It's also, and I've been very open with my staff, it's not what I pictured that would be. And so that needs a redesign as well. we have a lot of scheduled things that I think for next year will help with these pieces, and the teachers are identifying that.
So I kind of tossed that softball out
Be a super
because
softball.
I want the board to know that I made it a non-negotiable that we have to improve reading pre-K through 12. And so some of what principals talk about when it comes to change, it's because I've placed that expectation on them. So when some of that drastic change comes to the schedule and we spend more time on core academics like literacy, like math, it's because that's what we're setting ourselves up to do, is improve what we have. Because we presented data 2 months ago now. It was in December that we presented data to you that clearly this board was not comfortable with where we are, as we're certainly not. In order for us to change that, we have to really change the way we're doing things, which we know some people are not going to like, and that's an unfortunate byproduct. But in order for us to move forward and in the direction that you want me to move, and what I want them to do is going to result in some ripple effects. So just wanted to set that up today in March for what will be coming down the pike over the next couple of months.
Well, and taxpayers, that's been a big,
So it's been a big
big point with them too, you
football
know.
they could kick every time.
Yeah,
I know.
and it is expensive to fund a school district, and you know, you wanna know you're getting results for your money, so.
Yes.
Plus, we want to do what's best for the kids, and what's best for the kids is teaching them what they need to know. So,
Mhm,
Yeah. So when people get mad at me
mhm,
and not the principals or the teachers.
mhm.
there's gotta be some way within all of the stuff that because we can only do so much at the school level, right? So how do we get the parents involved in being part of that process? You know what I mean? And that kind of thing, because I know that that's always a struggle. And I've always wanted more participation in that area, coming from, since I've been in the PTA, so it's been
Now,
many
remember,
years.
what did we used to do, the Dr. Seuss, remember how packed we had that in?
It's probably
What
that,
was
it's
that?
probably the Read Across America. That's all Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
It was, we had the.
We've talked in these leadership groups around, I mean, I'm a firm believer, everybody, our staff, our parents, everybody is doing the best they can.
Right, yeah.
I 100%.
Yeah.
But
Sorry, I was gonna say, we also used to do a discount for the preschool if you attended meetings every month, which was, I know when my son was little, which was many years ago, but that got me in the building, and then I participated in other things.
And they were
That
parenting
was-
classes,
that
weren't
too.
they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but right, and that I feel like, because then once math night came along, once my son got into the older grades, he wanted to be there because he remembered those nights, and he would come home nagging to go, and I would be like, oh, okay. And I'd have to put that effort in too, to come and participate, meet the staff, learn these different ways that the school was teaching. And I feel like it just got me, as a young parent, it got me in the door. It was that incentive to help my wallet, but also to get me in there and really see what was going on. And once you start that connection really young with the teachers, it kept me wanting to go.
Plus it gave you, like when I went, it gave you ways to help teach what your child should be learning at that age, you know what I mean? So-
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
importance of literacy.
Right,
and
yeah.
all
And
that.
I think that, so we've been talking in these leadership groups around how do we get this information to parents?
Mhm.
Because there's been different events that some are very well attended. Math
Mhm.
night is very well attended,
Yeah.
and it's coming up. So
Yeah.
come on down.
Math night is awesome.
But others aren't.
Mhm.
There's been a Ready for Kindergarten that inconsistent, different programs inconsistent. So we've been talking about what can we give out? Just a one pager
Mhm.
for in kindergarten. This is what are we doing in first grade? This is because I had a meeting with a group this afternoon of what was third grade 20 years ago is now kindergarten. Like there's
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah, it really
and
is.
some of that's extreme. It's what
Yeah,
was
yeah.
first and second, but like there's been a shift.
Mhm.
So I mean, I'm not super old, but what I even think I'm like, I didn't do that until
Mhm.
and so these are the parents. So for that, so it's like, well, we have this concern, this is not progressing. sometimes it's a surprise because their experience was, oh wait, that was a couple, they didn't know to get them ready, you know, to help out.
Right.
The other is screen time, digital access. And so we brought that recently up related to the digital learning specialist position about, you know, could that person be a help in that way? Our social workers working on that and talking with families directly because, you know, we have discipline issues related to little people being online and talking in a certain way online, and then they say it here, and it's a big consequence. It's different. Never mind that quick dopamine cycle that we cannot, I mean, we do a song and dance, but we can't emulate that.
Yeah.
So those are the pieces that we're trying to look at and how do we embed that in a supportive way, because everybody is doing their best.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing anything wrong.
Right.
Everybody's doing their best. So
Yeah.
we just need to give that information out.
Thank you. Any other questions? I'm very encouraged by all the intervention and whatnot. I think that's really important. So thank you. IT, Justin.
First, congratulations on your election.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome back to the board.
I know, we just all glossed over that. Well done, Justin. Thank you. I think it was just because we knew it was a foregone conclusion, right? What would life be like without her?
Thankfully, you'll never have to find out. Next
That
4
would-
years anyway.
That would have been real awkward on that Tulsa trip, huh?
Right.
Oh, yeah, right? Like, oh, what's she doing here?
That one didn't even cross anybody's mind.
No.
We just
Oh.
knew you were
We
gonna.
just knew we were gonna be here.
I know, I didn't even pay attention to the school, I wasn't even interested, because it wasn't contested. I was paying attention to the
There's
select board.
what, 10 write-ins?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been competition.
yeah, apparently.
Actually, we're out of order because I should have opened the meeting because you need to be reelected as chair.
Oh, that's right.
So I'll be looking
Thank
for
you
a
for that.
nomination for chair at this time.
I will nominate April to be chair.
Is there a second?
I will second that.
Any discussion?
Please
April, do you
continue.
accept the
I
nomination?
accept the nomination.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Kendra, opposed?
Oh, aye, sorry, aye.
All right, the ayes have it. Chair, you may now move forward with the
Do
election
we
for
have
the
to
vice
Do
chair.
we have to re-elect?
Yes, you do.
Vice chair.
We should have
so-
done this at the beginning.
I know, we
so
should have, I'm sorry.
We'll just reflect in the minutes that
Yes.
we aired and we will
Look what we did
correct,
wrong.
correcting it now.
And good thing Justin said something.
Yeah.
No, thank you, Justin.
We would have been a month late.
I know. So, I will make a nomination to, for oh, God,
Not
sorry,
Kendra.
not Kendra.
I'll-
Kayla to be vice president. Vice
Vice
chair.
chair.
I'm all thrown off, sorry.
Hey, I'm gonna second that so we can just get through that.
Thank you, thank you.
I've also been vice president to your
To
president.
accept the nomination.
I do.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I know, I voted for myself too. So moved. So now we're official.
Well done.
Thank you
very
for that
much.
reminder.
Well, and Maria better change the minutes to say that, because I wasn't gonna come, but then I decided to, so she better change the minutes saying that I am here.
I got you, Kendra.
Oh, thank you, Maria, sorry.
Oh, yeah, when your voice came out of that TV, I thought I was at home.
For the rest of your life, Wayne.
Oh, God, here we go.
So we're in compliance. Kendra, I need you to state where you are and if anybody else is in the room.
No, I am home. Nobody's in the room, just me.
All right, thank you.
Perfect.
It can be
Okay,
deleted in a minute.
so we can go back to Justin.
All right, so now,
Get that.
Justin, thank you very much.
Look at the can of worms you opened.
I know.
Madam Chair, you have my report. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
He was just trying to be nice.
I know. That was good, because I had totally forgot about that part. I don't have any questions.
I'm excited about the math titles.
Yeah. I know, that sounds interesting. That'll be, Mrs. King's class gonna test it out?
Yep.
That's perfect because she does all those like fun competition games,
Mhm.
so she's the perfect. one.
Yeah,
I'm
she is
excited.
I'm excited to hear how it went. So no questions for Justin?
No.
Thank you, Justin.
Quick and easy.
I know, right? And Director of Student Services, Patty Wallace, is not here.
She had a conflict this evening, and so she wanted to make sure that the report was in. If there are any questions, we can get them to her if we can't answer them.
Mine are more like just technical things. What does SBI stand for?
Specially designed instruction.
Oh, okay, I actually did that. And then, so when she was talking about discussion with the leadership team and providing breakfast and snacks during evaluations, is that for special ed evaluations or like all testing,
New
like
Hampshire
maps and?
Yeah, we were really
So-
talking about the New Hampshire South
Just the-
summatives that
okay.
are coming up.
I think that was it for me.
Patty. And Facilities Director Nate is also not here. That's right. Anybody have any questions on that before?
No, but I did want to express my thanks again. I know I emailed people, but Nate did come in after hours and walk the fire department through. We had a pretty good showing. It was about an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes. We got to go through both schools, go over a few things that even us who have lived in this town for a while didn't know. A couple of access points to the highest parts of the roof that one side has it, the other side doesn't. Boiler rooms, and we all agreed, including Nate, that we're gonna try to plan it in March every year from here on out, so they can just be on the calendar that's what our drill is gonna be, and it's gonna be just come up and walk through. Just getting familiar with it because all the calls so far that we've had, we've always been able to have staff be super supportive, but I wanted some people to know the school a little better in case one of these times we can't let the staff be there.
Yeah.
So, and that's the important part, because time matters, so.
Perfect.
And Nate did a great job, and we really appreciated him coming in after hours.
Nice. Thank you.
Great, I think that's great. You guys do it every year. Just be really familiar with it.
Mhm.
All right, any other questions for me? New board business. District meeting discussion. We had district meeting on Saturday.
I heard.
What time should we do?
I'm thinking if everybody's there by 8:30, 8:45, just so we're all there.
You'll have to call your meeting to order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
So excited.
beginning will ask for permission from everybody to make sure you guys can be able to talk and whatnot. Get that out of the way ahead of time. And then we'll go do the retirees. And then get into it.
And Smokey takes it over from there,
Mhm.
right?
And then, I do want us to go over just briefly the budget at the end of this meeting, so we are all have it fresh in our mind.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Because it's been a little bit, yeah.
All budget all the time and then we stop.
I know, yes. The class of 2027, we were providing food out in the lobby that day. So bring your money.
Right, they're not providing
Yes,
it, they're
cash only.
selling it.
Yes, they are selling it. Do we have like kids or anybody doing the pledge of allegiance or anything at the beginning of our meeting?
Usually we have like the Girl Scouts or something.
Somebody, I don't know if anybody was doing it for the.
We could set that up. Do you have any thoughts on that? Usually it's fun to have a little cutie do it.
New Girl Scouts? I know that there's a Girl Scout troop in town.
Is
I
there
think.
still?
I think so.
There
I think There was.
They got me at Walmart.
I think that was
There's
Chesterfield.
cheerleaders.
I was gonna say that's usually.
That was Chesterfield.
I actually don't know that. it's active
I don't
right
think
now.
it was an Hinsdale
Peyton
group.
Oh, okay,
Killelea
well, I
is
just knew they were Girl
experienced.
Scouts.
Oh, okay.
And they.
Peyton Killelea.
There is no troop in Hinsdale currently.
I didn't think so. 'cause
Peyton
they
does have the
all wanted to
experience.
try and set one up.
But what about the little cheerleaders?
Oh, yeah, that might be fun.
I think Peyton, Gemma and Grace should do a whole trio.
They have dance
Dance
class.
routine, yeah.
Well, it is last minute, so I mean,
Oh,
if
they
we
have
can,
to.
great, if not, we'll just do it on our own,
Mhm.
which is fine.
It's good to get kids in there. Though.
I know.
Makes people.
Always.
Yeah.
We'll find some students.
Yeah.
Won't we, Molly?
We will.
We will.
I'm friends with her on Facebook. I don't know how often she is on there.
I can have Erica
Send
reach out
someone.
to her to see if any of the cheerleaders can come and do
Yeah.
it.
The cheerleaders just handed in their uniforms this past Saturday. They still got their pom-poms.
Well, that's fine, they can, they don't have to be in uniform.
Put 'em in blue.
Pom-poms are fun.
Yeah, that works.
A little razzle dazzle.
All right, cool. Prom and class trip, we discussed, do we discuss any further? Do we need to approve those?
It's not an
Class
overnight,
trip?
so
Okay,
you don't.
Sorry, I didn't. I got ahead of myself.
that's fine. Always good to get out of the way. P-card program. What is
Yes.
it?
So
What's it do?
you got a very large package, which I'm sure you have gone, looks like, what is it, 40-something pages?
It's page turner.
That you've gone through
I thought I
cover
read
to
the whole
cover.
thing. Maybe I didn't.
I don't,
Oh,
know,
yeah.
I don't think I got the.
It's a biggie. It's all, well, maybe
Well, it
it's-
was
I've
like
got all
60
different
pages.
pieces that I've added to mine because
Okay.
of all the different things. So through the New Hampshire ASBO, which is the Association of Business Officials, they link with the P-card program. And so what the P-card program is, essentially it's a credit card. But it's not a credit card in that sense. What happens is on a monthly basis, based on your spending and in certain categories, you actually would get more of a percentage. You get money back on your spending. And so it goes through New Hampshire Association of Business Officials and they let you know your rebates have been uploaded. So it is sanctioned by the New Hampshire group that I'm affiliated with. And it's just an easier way to have your credit card, so to speak. For instance, if someone is traveling, you can like say, you know what, we're gonna have a P card, we're gonna put $1,000 on it. And you're only gonna have it for that traveling. You limit the spending on it. Typically, like a Maria would have a larger balance. Because right now, we have so many people that come to Maria to book stuff and really, like, they can book this stuff. And then that way they have that P card and we track everything at the end of the month. It's just like a credit card in that you send us all of your receipts. It comes in with your bill, just like our credit card bill does, but we're gonna get money back. We're not just paying it, we're getting money back as well. So it's a purchase and a rebate program. And I'm trying to find revenue. And although it may be small, it's a more efficient system, to be honest. And I feel more comfortable having more people have these cards that are maybe off-site for one reason or another, or, even if it's, going to Market Basket, maybe they don't have what you need, now you're gonna go to Walmart. If you don't have the cards for each of those, you've got your P card. So you can, as long as it's you can go in and do it. Like the main people that we look to have would be like your food and consumer science person that would go get groceries. Like Erica or Kathy Bean would have those because they place so many orders and sometimes you can't go through the PO process. It is just easier and faster to do this. So they would have one in their name that they can do that as well. And I have only applied for like 75,000, which is very low. I can change that at any point in time, but I wanted to start low until people were kind of used to it. But I would rather, if we're gonna spend money, that we get something in return. So,
So do you have to determine who's gonna get cards?
yes,
ahead of
that will be
time,
determined by the
obviously?
business office with senior leadership as to who's most likely to need a card and then at what level. Like Justin would have a card to do his purchases because a lot of his, you still want to go through the PO process, but at the same time, he doesn't have to come get someone else's card. It's here you go. Same with Nate. When Nate needs to go to Perkins or, anywhere, he can have that card and he's not limited to, well, we have a credit account here, so you're gonna go here. It kind of opens it a little bit. And again, where we are doing that spending, we can get money back I mean, I don't know about you, but all my credit cards have something hitched to them or I don't have them. So.
I don't have credit cards.
We did something similar with the town and it actually saved us money because it gives us the opportunity to buy some of the parts
Mhm.
that we used to have to go through just the people
Yes.
we had our accounts with. We can
Exactly.
actually price, call around, get the best price.
Yeah.
And do it that way. And that made it has saved money and they do the same rewards too. So.
So I am asking for the board to adopt a resolution to allow us to do this. If it doesn't work out, then we shut it down and we say we give it a good shot. But I have worked with it before in previous districts.
So there is a process though.
Yes,
still for
absolutely.
making okay, that was my thing.
Your process doesn't change.
Okay.
The only thing that changes is the people that hold the cards will have a certain limit based on what we would expect them to need. And
Okay,
it
that
does
makes me
open
feel
that,
better too.
you know, they don't have to, well, I have an account here, so yeah, we can go here and do.
I
they're
thought
able to do it.
everyone was gonna have a
No,
75,000
right, I know,
limit. I was like,
No, and it's 75,000
I don't even have a
collective.
card.
No, that's,
All
I
of
was like, I
these-
don't think that's a good
All
idea.
of these will total like 75.
Mhm.
Like Dr. Ryan would have one if he needs to travel.
Right.
Which will be very limited
Mhm.
on his.
You get $10.
But it saves, in some cases, it saves someone having to pull out their own credit
Mhm.
card and us reimbursing them. It's like, you
Yeah.
have a P card, it is loaded with this amount of funds. If you don't spend that month, that's fine, you'll get a bill that says 0. But everything else, the process is the same. The biggest difference is we will get a kickback, money is returned.
So as far as the credit card bills, are they all coming to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they will all,
They're not going to the individual.
depending on how
right?
we set it up, they may, what will happen is, it may go to like an individual holding the card to make sure all the receipts are with it. But the way we do it now is all of those things are purchased, are approved ahead of time. So, you know, say if, you know, we're gonna buy desks. You go through your PO process, yep, we agree. Once you've made that purchase, that receipt comes to us and we hold that till that bill comes in. And then we take, you know, 500 receipts and put it all with that bill. So it's the same process. It's just going through a vehicle that will allow us to get some money back.
Yeah, as long as everybody knows it's still the same process.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I would
The
not,
intent.
no, I will not loosen the controls. No,
And
same thing.
I didn't think this tightens.
Yes, it does. It does.
The non-personalized card made me a little nervous too, because then it sounds like you can't, like if there was any fraud, you can't, like basically whatever the purchases are, you're liable for them.
No, it would be the same as like a credit card. If it's not a recognized purchase, you can call and they take care of it the same way.
Okay, because in here it's E, the member may request a non-personalized card, the member will be liable for all purchases made with a non-personalized card, whether or not an authorized card holder made the purchases. So that sounds like if someone took the card and made a purchase, we'd still have to pay for it.
It depends on if the card is like reported lost, it's just like your credit card. You are gonna call right in. And we'll have it in the previous district. We called right in. Nope, they lost their card. Might find it 2 days later. I don't care. It's already shut down and we've already been able to issue a new one.
Should we just maybe not have a non-personalized card? Because that does make me nervous. It sounds like you're whatever.
I want them all, they will all be personalized. So if, say Karen has one, it's gonna say Karen Thompson on it.
Okay.
And Karen Thompson is the one allowed to use it. Same with Justin's. It will say Justin. Justin will be the one that will be signing for it.
Because that was the only.
Yep.
If it was non-personalized.
No,
So
they
that
will
makes
be
me-
personalized,
Okay.
yes, because you don't want one just that's going
No,
on.
no, right.
Right,
And then
like the Home
anyone-
Depot card, those are non-personalized, we
Right.
had in the town, we got rid of it.
Yeah.
That's the way it always was, is
Right.
we'd go down and just grab it from the vault,
Right.
Right. And then
go to Home
anyone
Depot.
anyone who gets hold of it, go to town.
Yeah, right.
You know, that makes me nervous.
Yeah, that would
Okay,
be
so I
That's
feel
good.
better now.
I had one for almost 5 years in my previous district, didn't even know I had one. My finance director held on to it, and I was like, he goes, well, you know, you have one, I'm like, I do? When did that happen? Now that I know, I mean, I do the least spending of anybody because we're
You
doing
just
the
track
controls.
the spending.
Right, yeah.
Too.
So we need a motion to move forward with the P card, what's the
Well,
word?
we have to-
Authorizing.
Authorize
Right, yeah.
the P card process.
Yeah, there's a resolution authorizing the issuance of the P card. And what will happen is you guys will take a vote. We're going to record that vote. I'll need your signature. And then I will be providing them with the resolution. I have a form that is going to need you and Dr. Ryan to sign. And I have put Gretchen Higgins and myself as the primary and the secondary as far as the accounting piece of it. So where everything comes into AP at, Gretchen sees all those. So that way I have someone else that is in, that can go in, look up, do whatever needs to be done in the background of it. So I have it for you and Dr. Ryan to sign on that. So
So I need a motion to accept the resolution.
I'll make that motion to accept the resolution for the P cards.
And I will second.
Any more discussion on them? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Kendra. So moved.
thank you so much.
So we'll sign those later. Bus bids. Have someone soon. Sorry, do we get that?
That was in non-public. wasn't it?
Should be,
Should be,
yeah.
It's listed under new business. so
Yeah,
we'll
that
wait.
should go,
right,
yeah.
we'll just delay that to non-public. Ease.
And school board procedure manual. So I brought this up. So I'm wondering if we shouldn't have a procedural manual for the school board. Like, it lays out what the, I mean, there's parts of it in other places, but I was thinking about having one place, like if we get a whole new school board, then hand it to them, this is everything they need to, like you would in a job.
Right, yeah, no,
Do you know
I
what I'm
think that's a
saying?
good idea, yeah.
Like things need to happen when, you know,
And it'd be good for us to, like,
That's what I
it's
was
just
thinking
nice
too.
to have it all like in one place, like every year you have to do this, every
Yeah.
3 years you have to do this, every 5 years,
Like-
like this happens, like.
every
the
March
board has
meeting, you
to
have
be-
You've got to.
you
Yeah.
need to
The
realize-
organizational meeting in
Yes,
March,
yeah.
yes.
Yep, those kind of things.
Yeah.
And like, you know, setting goals and checking in on them. all
Yeah.
that And we're gonna have more, especially with, if we.
Manchester coming in
Yeah.
and whatnot, if that happens.
So I did some research, because I think you and I traded emails
Mhm.
April, I think it was during the February break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Key sections, I have several examples that I can share with all of you just to kind of get a view, but key sections include introduction and overview, so like the mission, the board composition, the district demographics, board member roles and responsibilities, which includes expected conduct and ethics code, roles of the chair, the vice chair, all the other stuff that goes with like attendance, board operations, meeting schedule and procedures, agenda development, kind of all the explanation of how that happens. Committees and task forces, the standing committees and the
Yeah.
member selection process. District policies and procedures. We could either do that electronically, or if you want, put all 257 policies in there.
Policies and procedures and link would do.
I
Yeah,
think
I'm
maybe a
agreeing.
summary of what the policies are and their names, so
Yeah.
then we go online, we can look them up.
Yeah.
With whatever's underneath it might be helpful to have that in there.
Perfect.
Because I'm always like, I go to the electronic thing, I'm like, okay, I'm looking for this specific for this, but I have no idea where.
And I think sometimes it would help if you know the
Yeah,
first letter of the code.
Right.
Whether you're looking at finance or
yeah,
governance. or
exactly,
student.
because I have no
Thanks.
idea.
Exactly.
I had no idea.
They're organized?
Yes.
Yeah, see, I didn't know.
We'll do a
that.
quick-
You could hear him saying he knows all the.
I
Yeah.
know,
We'll do a quick one.
So that, I think that kind of stuff would be helpful.
having that in there.
Yeah, would be great.
Communication and engagement, because that's originally what you had asked me about, like, where does this
Right.
communication
I know, yeah.
procedure manual go?
Yeah.
And we talked, it should go in here. It's a
Mhm.
PR strategy, stakeholder communication channels, community input mechanisms. 7, board member professional developments, legal and compliance, and appendix.
Oh, I really like that.
So,
Yeah.
I want one.
And
And that
that's-
way, when a new board member comes on, they get a copy of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can, I mean, if there's the New Hampshire School Board does the training online or whatever, but I mean, it doesn't,
Yeah, I
it
went
isn't
to
specific to
Concord for
us.
that, but it is.
Yeah.
I grabbed a bunch from all over the country, different states that have them. So I'll share all of those out, but it,
I really like that.
I mean, rather than recreate the wheel, just,
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's all the information, right? I mean, but still even like, it's little refreshers and stuff.
Yeah.
And this would be a great project. I'm hopeful to get another like master's or graduate level student who's looking to go into administration. This would be a great project for them. There's no one around the table that I can name just yet. I'm trying to think of someone who's not here that I might be able to pin this on. Come back to it.
Nate was hoping we were gonna assign him to something in his absence.
I wouldn't put this to notes.
And
So-
I'm more than willing to be involved in the process too. If we want a couple of people like working on it.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
why
mind,
you're our
know.
chair.
I know.
I don't
I know,
mind
you're a
doing
geek like
that.
But, cause I know I know that there's materials, it's
Right.
just like getting them
Getting
all
it
in one
spot,
place.
yeah. And then
kind of thing.
organized.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about it with the board and make sure we all thought that was a good idea.
Yeah. Rule book for myself wouldn't hurt.
Wayne's just happy if he doesn't have to do the work to do it.
Yeah, we'll take care of this and present it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, we do the work.
On the back and be dedicated to me.
Although you haven't been on any committees for like the rest of the year, so.
I know.
You're kind of slacking, actually.
Yeah. Well, let me just tell you.
Do you
I
have
think
any
we work
thoughts
on it on
about
the
it?
plane to and from
Oh,
Arizona.
see,
How's
there
that?
we go. We have plenty of.
Not on the way back, I'll be asleep. It's the red eye.
Yeah.
After 3 rounds.
Kendra, do you have any thoughts about the procedure manual?
No.
Thank you.
She doesn't want to do it, that's why she's not.
That's
talking about it.
fine.
Camera off.
Is your head back, Kendra?
It was until about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's gonna be some work to get it together, but I just think it's
It'll
important.
take a little while.
All right, so we have final readings for policies. ACF, ACN, appendix to IHBAR 1. I'm not gonna read the rest of them.
JSCJ and JOP.
Yes. Do we want to do them all together in one motion?
So now that we're doing the final reading, I really looked through them and I actually have some questions.
Do you want to pull one out specifically or?
I can, do you want me to just go down the line?
Sure,
And
if
then
you
we
want.
can do them all
Yeah.
as a group if that
Do we want to
works.
make the motion so then we can discuss? Because this will be a discussion.
Sure.
Good idea.
Do you want
I
to make the
will
motion as a whole?
As a whole.
Okay,
I'll second it.
so now we're in discussion.
All right. Well, we have to
Questions?
vote first, don't we?
No,
Oh, no, we
no,
just
after.
Just kidding, we never do it this way. Throw it out.
Vice President, let's go.
President, I know, so sorry.
Okay, so we have the human rights officer, right, because it's the 504 person.
Which policy are you
Oh,
referring to?
sorry, ACF,
Thank you.
under B. So is the 504 coordinator our guidance counselors?
So under B, it says additional discrimination complaint information. Is
Yeah,
that the
so the
section?
the human rights officer,
We eliminated that. You should have those comments
oh, I did not.
electronically. Yeah. We,
Oh, is
our
it the high-
business, yeah, it's highlighted, business administrator.
Okay. Okay, so now it's business.
Yeah, it's the
I
BA.
just had it
On this
highlighted. I was
one.
like, oh, this must be all the
Different one.
different.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct,
so-
correct.
Yeah. Okay, so and the one I'm looking at is not crossed off and.
No,
it
it's
says human
highlighted,
rights.
so I was
It's
like-
highlighted, yeah.
I was like, oh,
So I
these are the
didn't-
changes.
I'm
So
not
that's what
seeing
I
the
read.
comments.
Me
which is
either.
Probably why.
So then most of my comments are probably irrelevant.
But you might want to still mention them, just.
Okay,
So essentially, the title one, anything discrimination you rolled, that's Jane as BA.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other policy that was disability related 504 special ed, that's Pat.
Patty,
okay,
So those are the splits between the couple different.
okay, because I was like, oh, it said 504, and I was like, do we need to be updating job descriptions if we're throwing more work at them? And okay, so that took away that. So then ACN under C.
Mm-hmm.
Reasonable time to express.
Yes, so do we have a plan like for how we would cover if this came up, and do we have a place? Cause it said you should have a designated area and it needs an outlet, and so do we know where?
And
that-
we're talking about C or D, because D is the private area.
Under C,
Okay.
and then I followed up with D, so both.
So we have to decide on where those spots are in the schools, and we would work with the principals on where that would be.
Okay, just because if we're adopting the policy.
Not necessarily.
Okay,
No, just that we would provide one. Your
Okay.
job is to enforce the fact that we're gonna provide it. And then the schools would figure out where that's gonna best meet the language of the policy.
okay.
That's all.
Yeah, and depending on the person, different areas of the building, whatever,
Okay.
there's different, and their comfort.
Right.
And then I wasn't sure, so it's highlighted, so maybe it's being taken out. About having a pump.
We're not sharing.
Would
Yeah,
not.
I know, I was
do
like,
insurance.
that's a little
weird.
Seems gross,
Yeah,
and
the-
also we need to purchase a pump if we have
Right?
to do that.
The comment that you're not seeing, I don't know
Right.
why, because we provide, I don't know where they go, because we provide all of these. It says we are a no on this one.
Okay.
Is the comment.
Mhm.
Great.
Okay, great, that, I was like, oh,
Capital, yeah.
yep. Okay, that makes me feel better.
Yeah.
I thought we were adding that in, because it's highlighted, and I was like.
I know, yeah.
Um,
Generally, that's what that means.
And then DAFB A2 is what I wrote down, and it doesn't mean a whole lot to me right now, so let me see if I can find it.
I just lost it.
Is that a policy?
So it doesn't.
It is.
IHBA
or- I just wrote down DAFB, I'm trying to find it.
Because I can see.
Yeah, this is a new sample policy.
Okay, so it's A2, and I just wrote, huh? 'Cause
Federal funds to supplement,
supplementing,
not
not
supplant. Yeah,
I
so
don't know
they're,
where it is, but that,
yeah, it's A2.
okay.
Yeah, basically, it's a longstanding law under federal grant guidelines that your title grants, any federal money that's provided cannot be used to purchase something that is typically purchased within the operating budget. So you can't all of a sudden say, oh, we can't budget operating budget money for paper. Well, you know, we'll just use Title I money for paper. No, 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 no. So you can supplement, you can't put in place of.
Okay,
So if, let's go with the paper theme, right? So operating budget's gonna buy paper. But maybe what Title I's gonna do is, we've never had a position like in a print shop where someone's in charge of doing the printing stuff. You'd be able to use Title I funding if it was specific for Title I needs to do the printing. You just couldn't replace the paper with it.
okay,
All right,
So
and I
if
mean, that's
it's
not the
some-
greatest example, but
yes.
So the money needs to go where the money goes. And then.
as
you
long
can
as it's
only-
not
and you-
replacing operating budget money,
Yes, yes.
correct?
Even if it's for Title I needs?
So anything, so let's say you wanted to hire a teacher to do specific Title I intervention.
Mhm.
That's historically, at least here in any other district I've worked in, been paid through Title I grants. That's exactly what that is for. It's for additional supplemental intervention and academic strategies for students who are identified as being in need of Title I, as well as family engagement. So there's a whole family
Yeah.
engagement piece too, that if it's not in your operating budget, you would use your Title I money because that's specifically what it's for. Any disagreement with what I
No,
just
and I
said?
think we're very, very cautious of it when writing, because we've gotten called on it.
Commented?
Yes, we've gotten some feedback in the past. And not for anybody's fault, just because we would write something. And especially when we have different people in different positions, moving through, learning how to write the activities get tricky. But we're very good at, much better now. And the other thing I would just say is when we do this and we are cautious of the supplement versus supplant, if it doesn't fly, Stan at the state lets us know.
Yes, it does.
So we get great feedback from Stan.
And if he doesn't, I'm going. to.
That's right.
Okay, I was just, the way it is worded was kind of, oh, and JLP. So this is for,
Parental notification?
yes, but down at the end, it does say the superintendent can make the call if notifying the parent would put the child in danger, basically.
That's correct.
do we need to adopt a procedure outlining what the procedure is if a staff member feels like that might be necessary?
We'll develop what that looks like. And I hate this policy, but it's something that unfortunately we have to implement under the revised law around a lot of the changes that are taking place at the federal level.
Yes.
So,
And does that mean any staff member also?
Yeah.
Which is so weird, because usually that's not.
yeah, what we're gonna want to do is have a procedure that is developed. It needs to be ironclad to
Right.
prevent liability for my job.
Right, yeah.
And other superintendents feel the same way,
Yeah,
and so
very
School Boards Association is gonna help us with that.
Okay. That's how I was like, I feel like this needs more.
Yeah.
This is like a really big deal and it's really tiny and like,
Yeah.
here's what you're gonna do.
Right.
So.
And in some districts, there is gonna be a challenge to this. You know,
Yeah.
superintendents can say, no, we're not giving you that information
Right.
based on the information we have.
Right.
And there's gonna be a court case around it, and it's gonna decide the fate of this policy and how it gets changed, because it won't go away. Parent Bill of Rights will not go away. If it's- and then it's gonna grow.
Right.
So, we just don't have that procedure yet.
You have anything?
Nope.
Kendra, do you have anything on the policies? I'm gonna guess no. We made the motion already. We made the discussion. All those in favor of adopting these as read? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Kendra?
Okay, sorry, I like, it started to try to do a background and then I couldn't get out of the background.
Were you like half?
I showed that I was with palm trees and I don't even know where that came from, so. No, I don't have any questions and I vote aye as well.
Okay, perfect, thank you. So moved. Other business, I know Wayne had something.
All right, so we're coming down to a time in the town where our fuel pumps are getting aged. And for the departments that use 8,000-10,000 gallons a year, the repairs are still paying for themselves in the cost savings. And I believe it is time for the school to end completely our reliance on the town fuel pumps and go our own way with fuel cards or something that Jane said she's gonna look into it for me. Like last year we we got 1,040 gallons and we had $216.82 worth of repair. And that I think came up to like 29 cents a gallon pumped that we paid for repairs, which almost brings us up to the market value of that year. That is at the pump. They just completed a $9,000 repair on the fuel pump. And I drew the line and said, I'm speaking as a school board member, but not as the whole. I said, I am bringing it up for us to be done with this because this does not.
It's cheaper for us to go retail.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for it. And we don't even have we don't have a fuel pump repair line.
Right.
So, and with us cutting and cutting and cutting, we can't take a $2,000 hit
No.
out of nowhere. Especially one that we don't have a choice.
And
So, I do believe that the conversation was had that they are going to proportionately move this bill around to where the heavy hitters
Okay.
are gonna eat most of it.
That makes sense.
I have not heard that. I heard that from my boss. I know the conversation is being had. But I think that this should be our giant red flag just to say, we're done.
Yeah.
Um,
And 1,040 gallons for last year, that's my March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really not a
Right.
lot.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you consider that's an entire
Right.
year for our
Right.
use. That's
right,
not
and
a
if,
lot.
and say, for
Essentially
each,
just the bands, right?
Well, and just think that next
And
year,
driver's ed.
Lawnmower.
our vans likely won't be
Won't be
going.
going
yeah.
Right.
Alright, so it'll be even less.
Yeah, so, and like, say even if they proportionately make this and they drop us $1,000 bill, because that's how the percentage.
Right.
Yeah.
We now paid $5 a gallon for gas for the year.
That's right.
And that's crazy.
So,
That's not gonna work for me.
I don't know how it's going to go over the next 5 to 7 years when the decommissioning part of the town pumps comes. We might, when we go and talk to the town and say that we're done, here are our keys, we're all set, we're gonna go with our own Wex cards, whatever we decide, if that's what we decide.
Right.
P-card, because then we get money back.
Then we might end up in a
What's in your wallet?
Right?
P-card.
We might end up, having to, because we've used it over the years, I don't know where we will be on the decommissioning part. Because, but that's 5 to 7 years out, crossing our fingers, no more like catastrophic issues.
Do we know if we have like an MOU for that?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
If we do, I don't
remember
know
seeing
about
it.
it.
I remember
And
seeing it, but
like Wayne said, like
a long
we're
time
a
ago.
small user of this whole
Right.
thing, but when they did that 212, it's like, well, you're 1/7. You know, of all, like you've got what? Town garage.
Yeah,
and
town garage,
water
fire
and
department,
everybody
water,
else, and we just had to pay like, you know, a fractional piece that was more than what
Right.
our proportional really is, so.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, so I just think for our
That should
protection,
have been part of a
Yeah.
contract.
I think for our protection, budgetary wise, and just the fact that we aren't winning on this end. Because even if we get a 1/7 of bill of $9,000,
Yeah, that's crazy. We're still not-
Yeah.
we're in trouble.
Yeah.
For
We're not
something that
using
we
1/7 of the.
don't even
from
pump
the-
100 gallons a month,
So
so.
barring an MOU that states how you relinquish that, right? We may not have one if that's always been in place since the school's existence, who knows?
It's been there,
You know what I
well, the
I don't
tank
know.
got replaced 21 years ago, so, and there was a tank there then.
Right.
So a long
Okay.
time, this has
Right.
been this has been
I'm
a
guessing
long
there
time.
is no MOU on it.
I
Well,
don't
it's
think,
not.
I don't think there was, because when we first got the vans, I remember them saying, that was a big question, like, where are we gonna go? And there was nothing that, as far as I know, that was ever solidified. It was just, here's a key to the pumps, just use the pumps and we'll bill you.
Mhm.
If I remember right, when we first got the first van, that's how it sort of rolled.
Mhm.
There
Yeah,
was
because
no-
the school wouldn't have really needed gas
Right.
before that, actually, so we probably haven't.
I don't think
been
I don't think we
using it
used it for anything else
Mhm.
until the
But
vans
yeah.
came on
Yeah,
board.
a little
Yeah,
bit, a little
drivers
bit
have,
of diesel for the tractor and a little bit of gas for the
Yes,
lawnmower
exactly.
probably.
You saw it was like what, 12?
Yeah, 12.2 gallons of diesel.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so I just,
Yeah.
that's why I brought it up. I had Jane, thank you very much for pulling the things together.
Yep.
I mean, usage, if we were using 8,000 gallons and we were saving 60 cents a gallon, 70 cents a gallon on 8,000 gallons. All right, the savings offsets
Right.
the repair cost, but not, and when these are getting to the point where they're detrimental and we could just be paying at the pump. I don't see a reason why.
You can't get like an urban card too, and they would be saving.
That's what I use.
That's what I do. I have my own
Yeah.
card. Told you, there's not a card I have that doesn't have a kickback.
Even just their reward card will give you.
10 cents a gallon,
20
Yeah,
cents.
so
every 50
20
We
gallons.
should also do that.
And you
20
can
cents
double
in
up
Keene
sometimes.
yesterday.
So to go along with that,
would know.
if we do decide to, well, however we decide to do this. I don't know who's going to be the contact to the town administrator, just to say, you know, get the keys pulled together and
Right,
drop them off and just, and,
right.
you know, and I went over the MOUs. And I don't remember seeing anything about fuel.
We have it.
Yeah,
I'm still
probably.
finding my way.
Yeah.
Right. Do we have a spot just for our MOUs? I'm
Finding
thinking
my
not.
way.
If the office began with Jane,
Yes, we probably
then
would.
yes.
Yeah.
So we'll have to do some digging. Maria may be able to help us. out, and maybe
I'm
something in
guessing
our
we don't,
files.
and so we can make a motion in light of the fact that, without an MOU stating how we exit an agreement, you know what I mean? We can make a motion to to discontinue this service from the town, barring the discovery of an MOU.
Yeah, because who knows, maybe the
Right.
town has something.
Maybe, yeah.
Never
Does that
I like to
sound like
put a
the right
little,
motion?
little faith into Yorio's record keeping as
Mhm.
well, that we might have something here,
Yeah,
but yeah,
right.
that
It is-
sounds,
Yeah,
that's a reasonable one
Yeah.
to make.
so somebody would like to make that motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? Kendra, did you have any thoughts on it, or you good?
No, I'm good, thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Hi.
So moved. Thank you, Kendra.
Thank you guys for
No, that's
hearing me
good.
out.
Thank
Good,
you for
thanks for
bringing
bringing it to our attention, yeah. For sure. Any other business?
I just have one quick thing. I provided you with a flyer that I just sent out to all staff today. We have reserved April 14th for a 3 o'clock and a 4 o'clock session to have any staff interested come. We have 2 reps from Health Trust coming out to go over our health plans and the wellness program. So
Perfect.
they have not, from my understanding, haven't been here since 2015.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
I assumed it was done every year.
It's
Okay.
been a while.
That's great then.
So you just sent it out today, so obviously you haven't
Yes.
heard back from anyone.
Actually, I've heard back from a couple saying, because I said, can you please let me know, because we have to have a minimum.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I pull in all admin, we're gonna have a minimum.
I just sent you
No,
an
we're
email.
good. Yes, no, I actually have a few that have already replied.
Oh, wow.
I got one in like 2 minutes. I was like,
Oh.
"Whoop, I like this.
I know, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm glad people are taking advantage.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just want to try and bring this, you know,
Yeah.
people on, like, if you have questions.
Well, they
like,
do. I feel like everybody has questions about like which plan, what makes sense.
I would love to
Right.
just sit with people and say, okay, how many times do you think, on average, you go to the doctor? Here's what it would cost in this plan, but
Right,
I can't do
exactly,
that with
yeah.
everyone as much as I would love to do it.
We don't
Right.
have the time, come on.
I thought I might put some examples out,
Oh, that's good.
just
probably
so
good.
they can kind of compare, here's like a worst case,
Right.
maybe a least case and something in the middle.
Yeah.
So that you can say, okay, here's my out of pocket
Mhm.
for, you know, outside of my premiums, and then
Right.
take a look and say, okay, the premiums here would be this, premiums here are this.
Mhm.
I'm saving money, but
Right.
there are gonna be some years, you know, you're gonna have an off year.
Right.
We all do. But on average, so that they can kind of take a look.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
That's great. Thanks, Jane.
Mhm.
Anything else? Don't have anything. All right. Does anybody need any admins to say for committee reports?
Remember, choose wisely, because
I know,
last
last
meeting,
time.
you always like that.
Last, I can't remember.
I
which
know.
one it was.
Mine's not even here already, so.
There was someone we should have reflected, but I can't remember.
I think it was Molly.
Yeah, I think it was Molly. Last time.
Oh, because maybe you were at HASC and none of us were.
Oh, that's
Right.
right.
Yeah, I was,
She was
I
here.
reported on
Yeah,
it.
she
did.
was here. She was here.
somebody
late
else.
Was
last
that when you were doing the thing?
The lifty thing?
That was
And
the
then-
lifting thing, that
and
was
then the
me, you guys had just started Nate. and he
Yeah,
should have been doing
That was the one. Yeah, that was
And
it.
they talked about the thing.
The thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
That does the
So
thing.
very important. It's all coming back.
Oh, I love that. It was great.
So if no one needs.
I
the
did
admin
use the
to
lifting thing and set up,
Look,
not one, not
Karen's
two, but all.
Well, I don't know,
four. But it
I was
worked.
thinking, but I thought maybe they won't say.
Why it has sooner learned, I don't know, but I found.
Good
that
night,
that's good.
Kaylee.
We'll
Yeah,
just
you're all
use the
good.
admin.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
To the
Thank
things
you.
and thingies.
If you'd like to stay, you're more than
Should have
welcome.
asked you about this before, but I,
Are we gonna do this now?
Do you want her to text you instead?
I trust you.
I have interest in the bus bids.
You're more than
Well, then
welcome to
stick
stay.
Okay.
Oh, hang
You don't
out.
have to go.
We have a
No,
blast.
I'm saying you
Fun, you're
can
gonna
if
stay
you'd
in my
like
pub
to.
for
You're
bus
gonna
bidding.
see a
Yeah.
side
What
you
could be
haven't
more fun
seen
than that?
before.
Yes, anybody who would like to leave now, would like to stay, we're more than happy to have you.
Bus bidding.
Thank you, guys.
Safe drive home, everyone, especially you, Justin. That nice new car.
Karen, if I don't catch up with you, they'll be at the
I was
door
gonna
with
say,
your
don't
name,
worry
with you
about it.
guys' names on them.
Just my nickname.
We will
All
take
right,
a third one.
Not
if
JT,
we
I
have
should
it.
have JT.
Yeah, I can get you a third one.
So just leave the third one at the
I'm
door.
not
Is that
calling
okay?
you.
Can we pay?
Sorry.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fine.
you can just catch up with me, whatever. I mean,
Well,
it's
Mary
not,
will-
it's April 20 something. We'll
Mary
see
will
each other.
take care and get one in.
Yeah.
So I told him.
You got two already.
Okay.
All right, so we'll move on to budget committee, we'll move on to committee reports, first one being budget. Thankfully, we're at the tail end of budget season, so Saturday will wrap it all up for us.
For you guys.
Yeah.
Starts for us.
Yeah. I mean, they do have monthly meetings scheduled, but I don't know if we're having one coming up or not.
And I will provide them with the March 31st quarterly.
Oh, perfect. Great. Community connections, we're getting the information out.
We're connecting.
We're connecting, I hope.
Yeah, you did a good post.
Thanks. Facilities maintenance, Wayne?
Yeah, so we had a few different companies come in, went over some lighting and some lighting jobs that we would like to do to offset our power bills, save money, better lighting. And it has a lot to do with Eversource kicking back with a portion of it. I can't remember the percentages, but some of them are pretty good.
Wow.
Two of the presenters were really good. Once I think they found about where we were looking, we weren't a big enough egg in the basket for them. I think they were more like oh, let's do $4 or $5 million worth of work kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the other two did really good, did very good presentations. Great ideas. One did talk about heat exchangers on the top too, so that's gonna broaden that research for us over the coming months to come up with a plan of how we're going to start eventually chipping away at that very expensive job on top of the roof.
Yeah.
But the lighting said everything sounded real promising. I think we were gonna have a meeting coming this week, but we postponed it till
Because we've had
June.
those two.
Cause we've had the 2 or 3 3-hour meetings.
Yeah, well, and Nate is reaching back out too and maybe trying to tap another source, just so we,
Perfect,
you know,
perfect.
have as much information. as possible.
Yeah, so that was good, and it was a good chunk of what a CIP is gonna look like and where we're going, and low impact, if any, on some of those projects that we're talking about, so.
I like that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right,
Nice.
Yeah.
awesome. Hats,
That's,
that was last month.
I was gonna say, that's like quarterly or.
Yeah,
So not.
legislation is a whirlwind and
Fiery chaos.
hard to keep up with
Yes.
everything going on.
I was actually thinking that's one thing I have not kept up with.
I keep up as much as I can.
All
I
over.
do know that the spending cap that was rejected by most towns last year, the state has introduced a bill for them to say there's gonna be a spending cap
Yeah.
to dictate what we're gonna do in our districts.
Yep.
It has passed the House at this point, so it's gone on to the next step. So hopefully the Senate will ixnay it, but we will see. Because it will be detrimental to what we're trying to do.
Well,
I mean,
especially if they
really.
only allow us to do what they deem adequate,
Right.
that's about half.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah,
Because we already know how they deem adequate.
right,
Mhm.
well, and
Education
we're
cost.
getting, with them potentially getting rid of things too, that would even further reduce it, like, so we can't function.
yes, exactly. So there's a lots of stuff going on, that are detrimental to the public schools. So we'll just, New Hampshire School Board Association is keeping an eye on it. I'm trying to keep as much of an eye on it as I can, and I would just encourage anybody that finds a bill that you'd like to not support or support even.
Yeah.
To send your comments
To the call to action.
and so they see it on the floor when they're reviewing it, and your representatives and all that stuff, you know.
And it's usually all, like, they have a ready-made reply.
A lot of
You can
places
add
do.
to it, and I have
Yes.
done that.
Yeah, so have I, yeah,
But they have one if you don't feel like thinking about it.
yes,
Which is nice.
makes it easy. So, yeah. I mean, we're record high number of bills that in 1 year,
Right.
so it's only growing, it seems. So that's all I have for legislation at this point. It's
Great.
yeah, it's a lot to keep up with.
Like a damage report.
Yeah. right.
Yeah, it is.
Personnel committee, do we have a meeting set for this month?
We met,
Last month,
The 25th.
thank you.
and there we are, that voice from above.
I know.
The go-
I know. She just always knows all the things.
I know it's in my calendar, so.
Actually, kind of spooky right now.
We're hopeful to have a
It's
couple
not
of
in your-
resumes for you. That
Yeah.
should we begin the hiring process and
And I know we're looking at some,
Job description.
thank you, job descriptions.
Yep.
We are.
So,
we are on it.
so we'll be
I'm
having
so
some of
excited
those
with
come
those.
at some point too.
Yeah.
So. Policy committee, Kendra?
Oh, am I on?
Yeah.
Okay. I have not made a meeting, I don't believe. We haven't had
Yes, you
one?
have.
This last one, she wasn't able to come to.
Yeah.
So, no, we have a meeting coming up next week
Okay.
on the 18th at 10 a.m.
Oh, yeah, I'm scheduled for daycare.
Right. And I sent to you a folder about a week and a half ago, actually it was right at the end of February, with the budgets, the policies, just budget it up, that we're reviewing. So you're good. You're right on top of it.
I'm trying.
No?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't use it. I think I can't remember. I don't know. I think it's in Teams.
I remember
Do you
seeing it.
know, I saw Tim signing the budget and was like,
He said he sent it at the end of February.
All right, so select board representative, Wayne.
Oh, it was actually supposed to be Mark, but he's not
Oh,
here,
Mark's not
cause
here.
he's
Okay.
filling in for me, he kind of took that,
Oh, okay.
that side.
yeah, they swapped.
Yeah,
So
we
we should make Mark the, and you
Yeah.
the alternative?
Yeah, make me the alternative, Mark, and then we can talk, well, we're gonna be
gonna do
reassigning
that
those
next
in
month
2 weeks
anyway, right?
anyways.
Yeah.
And I did send it.
Cause
via
technically,
Teams.
you don't get sworn back in until
Next on
after
Teams.
this meeting.
You need
Saturday,
to
right?
True, yeah,
So we jumped the gun.
well, it's done at this point.
Oh, that's right.
I mean,
we
the
usually
ballot was
do it in
official,
April.
but I will take my oath on Saturday, yes.
Yes,
Maria
I don't
put it
think
in the
so.
policy.
and I don't know.
That's, we did jump the gun. We usually do that in April because if someone else had been elected, they wouldn't have even been here.
Correct, and last year I questioned it because by statute, when there's a new board member, it's a new board.
Yeah,
And therefore, there has to be a new organization to the board. And Holly didn't agree with me on that. And so,
because
you shared
theoretically,
right there.
April would be that new person's first
Correct.
meeting, so that's when we should do it.
Correct.
Really have done.
Whoever the
Then
new
we
board
can
member
say,
is
yeah.
constitutes a new board meeting.
This wicked
And
new
it's
board.
it's only a board when all elected members or those that are present are at the table.
Mhm.
If there's a new board member at the table, it constitutes a new board. And because your term ended,
Right,
you're
You're a
technically
new board
in a new
member.
term. So that creates a new board, and therefore the leadership of the board has to be established.
so April is normally when we should have done all this
No, today,
before, but because I'm
Cause you're
old
here,
new,
yeah.
right?
I'm old new.
But she. but
Doesn't
she-
matter, your
Oh.
term started. So
Oh, okay.
this board changed by virtue of a new term.
I see.
So every single year, we need to do an organizational meeting
Mhm.
if it comes after elections.
Right, which it always will because Tuesday is always election and Wednesday.
And the second
are-
Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, if our meeting was last week,
Right.
then no.
No.
Then
But we
would've
don't,
done it
but we
in
don't
April.
get sworn in till, because if that was the case, you guys would have voted for everything before me and Mark got here.
They should have technically
Right.
attended, shouldn't they have?
No.
Not
we have to
no,
do
not
this
Because
one.
we weren't
necessarily.
elected yet.
That's what I'm
There's
saying,
nothing in the
it's April,
statute that
really.
requires you to wait for town
Yeah.
meeting to be sworn in. It's just that's the tradition of the
Oh,
town.
oh, okay.
Gotcha.
You could have been sworn in today,
Right.
right before the meeting. I could have sworn you in today
Mm-hmm.
by just reading that oath and you committing yourself to
But
the
in
United
general,
States of
if there
America.
is a new board member that's not us,
Mhm.
April would be the day we would reorganize the school board because they'd be on. That would be their first meeting, would be the April.
Well,
They would
unless we
attend.
wanted to
Um,
reorganize, right?
Why wouldn't they have attended today?
Yeah,
We,
I mean, they
we
could have, I
didn't
guess.
get told to attend until April.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
again, tradition.
Right,
because the
So-
I feel
last, the
like
last
if you're
meeting for
elected-
the last meeting for the person who's leaving would be this meeting. Would be the.
Well,
And,
technically-
and town meeting because
Which is
Right.
not correct.
Right.
But
Yeah, no,
the,
that
but the
seems-
thought, I think the thought process is that going into Saturday, you want the board who's worked on that this
Yeah.
whole time versus the board who's coming in new and doesn't know anything.
I totally get,
Do you know what I mean?
what I do,
Yeah.
but it is in violation of the statute. On election day, when a
violated.
member is elected, it
Right.
ends the term
Put it
of
in
the
the book.
person that's
Yeah.
being replaced.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so to have the person who's no longer an elected official still represent the board is unlawful.
Right,
I mean, it's not, we're not gonna throw you in jail, but
Yeah.
right, but
it,
it's,
it goes against what what the
I
state,
see what you're saying.
the state's
Mhm.
rules are
Yeah.
around elected boards.
Mhm.
right,
So to maintain compliance with that, whomever is the newly elected member
Mhm.
should be in attendance at the next duly posted meeting.
Mhm.
So it's one of those situations where just because we've been doing it that way
Right,
for a really
doesn't
long time, doesn't mean it's the right way to do it.
Mhm.
So
So what does that mean?
we need a committee.
Yeah.
Wayne?
why not? I really like all of you anyways.
So you're gonna get sworn in on Saturday.
Yeah, yeah,
And then in the procedural handbook, we're gonna put it all.
Yeah,
in
we
there.
yes,
should.
we'll figure this out, yeah.
Mhm.
and I mean, you could still have the prior board members there to speak on behalf of what they've been doing.
And to say goodbye to them in
Right,
front of
and
the
to
town.
have like
100%.
yeah, but I think, yeah, we should definitely be following rules and regulations.
Yeah, I know I get it, right? You want the board that developed the budget to be
Right.
there. But then we may then we have to change I don't know, change some dates.
Right.
Have your first meeting
After.
That's
town
why,
meeting,
because
Yeah. after
until
the
last
annual-
year,
Maybe,
it was
maybe the
third
March
Wednesday,
meeting does
right?
need to move.
Right,
I would
that would
think that
make
would make more
sense,
sense
yeah.
to the third Wednesday
how
versus the
simple that
second.
was.
Why
Yeah,
wasn't it the third Wednesday before we came and then we
No,
changed it
because
back?
that was because of Karen, and
Okay.
he couldn't do second because he was already in district that did second, so we moved it to third.
Gotcha.
So then when he left, we went back to traditional as second.
Yeah.
So yes, I think, I
Yeah,
think
so just
moving
the
forward,
March
then we should do
meeting
March meeting of
should
the
be
third.
after.
And then in
Yeah.
our procedural
That would make more
handbook,
sense.
it identifies the term
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
beginning until
Yep.
the conclusion of the annual district
Right,
meeting.
meeting,
Yeah.
right,
So
Okay.
that's the term,
yeah,
not the day after the election.
Right.
Your term doesn't begin until
The following Wednesday.
whatever. No, well,
Then
no,
what?
it's
They could be
conclusion
the-
of the
the
annual
annual
district
meeting.
Oh,
meeting.
right,
Yeah.
right, yeah, and then your first.
Because you
meeting
want to
would
swear
be-
that new person in
right.
if
That
you're gonna
makes- that
continue
would
that
make more
tradition.
sense. Right,
So
yeah.
we'll just have to make,
yeah.
Maria, remember that, Maria?
Remind us when we're doing the scheduling for
Yeah,
next
when
year.
we do
Yeah,
the.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm gonna put that in the minutes.
Draw a picture. You wanted to stay.
Riveting.
And discussion continued.
All right,
Okay, moving on.
so you don't have anything for select board?
Yeah.
where we
Is that what that was?
That's what it was.
Yep. No,
All right, I don't think there's been much going on anyway, because it's all about the
Yeah,
town meeting
yeah,
at this point and the
yeah.
fire station stuff, so. Strategic plan steering committee,
We
That's
have not
us.
met again.
Nope.
since-
was our last one.
Our
which we
captain's
updated
meeting.
Last year.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, last
month.
meeting.
Last
yeah.
year. I'm losing it.
Almost,
What time is it right now? Oh, it's
Just
like
turned
8
8:00, yeah.
Jeez.
Our next planning meeting is April 14th with the captains. They should have substantial work
Yeah,
completed for us. Yeah, because then we have to start putting things together.
yeah. All right, tuition exploratory committee, we kind of went over that earlier, I don't think there's much to add to it, we're meeting tomorrow. Wellness, Kayla?
We have not met.
The next meeting, I think, is April 9th, I think. Might hear the voice from above. I don't know.
I was gonna say, so we have,
I think we have one more meeting this year.
so that.
You're right, Jane.
Okay, thank you.
Is that at 3:30?
It must be right because you're saying it.
Mhm.
That's gonna be a busy day. Because we have the learning walk at 1 p.m.
Which we pretty much have like only a couple agenda items. One's just the normal agenda, but we will be looking at the report of wellness activities that we will be assembling for Dr. Ryan, because our policy now states that at the end of the school year, we will present a report to him. So it's getting that to put together.
Perfect.
Awesome.
So I'm sorry, Kendra, the tuition exploratory committee is different than the Winchester discussion, so is there a planned meeting to come up?
I think we were waiting to get through
This-
the Winchester stuff and then going forward, figuring out how we were going to market other things.
I think that committee is gonna be instrumental in helping us present to the town.
Go to the bathroom.
I don't have to go.
Are you yelling at Grace or Dax?
I'm so sorry, I didn't know that I wasn't muted.
It's on recording now.
Sorry, just tell the 7-year-old.
I'm all set.
Sorry.
We're not leaving the house. We'd like to use the exploratory committee to push out information about the agreement to get people in town to understand what it is.
Okay.
So we'll probably, once we get the public hearing posted, call a meeting of that group back together.
Okay.
You do the legwork of informing people, here's
Should we
what it's all about.
plan that
Right.
now or wait until?
I think we should wait
Okay.
until we post.
Okay.
I don't like assuming things.
Mhm.
So that's our committee reports. Is there any other citizen comments at this time? There's nobody in-house. Anybody online still?
Oh, looks like
Kendra?
Donna.
At this point, we'll go into non-public.
Yes, please.
Make a motion to go into non-public?
I will second that.
Roll call.
Yes.
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 Thank you. We're in non-public.
B, A, C, and K.
April,
Yeah, I gotta
do
hit.
you mind if I shut the recording off?
Oh, go for it.
Okay, let me come in. I have to do it from.
Oh.
Here
No,
comes
I
the
can do it.
scootering rocket ship.
You stay right where you are.
Are you sure? I don't mind coming in.
We can click buttons, I think.
I don't mind coming in.
If they mess it up. Oh, there we go.
Oh, no,
Oh,
we
wait,
can't
no.
end meeting. Don't do that.
So maybe we can.
Hold on.
Oh, the.
Now we need the
It's coming
scootering
in.
rocket ship.
Stop video.
Yeah, there you go.
No, no, that's not it. Sorry.
I thought that was it.
I learned
I
that I need to sign in and
Oh,
that from
recording.
first, and then if I sign in there first, I